I'm here today at the Working Class Movement Library on the Crescent, Salford, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Tanja. It's about the exhibition In the Face of Dwellings. Oh, dwellings, I got it right, yeah. Tell us what the exhibition's about.
Thank you so much for coming and for giving us this exposure and the opportunity to invite people to the Working Class Movement Library. So the exhibition is altogether an exhibition of 8 portrait photographs of people who lived between the 1890s and the 1970s. And they are placed side by side with a photograph and an architectural hand drawing of the type of house or building they lived in. I'm very pleased also to say that the architectural hand drawings are done by Laura Janica, who's one of our architecture students who just graduated. And I wouldn't have been able to do this as a curator with my fellow curator, Alexandra Mitchell. She is the archivist at the University of Salford.
Now, the photographs here behind me, does it depict all kinds of dwellings that were in Salford at the time?
Not all types of dwellings, but some that have been very important in the past, but have become obsolete, like, for example, the workhouse. Or the missions to seamen. Yeah. So these dwellings were, were known to people, but now we don't have them anymore. And then, of course, the terraced houses of that type were ubiquitous to Salford, and they have mostly been now demolished. So behind us we have Sarah Calderbank. We think the photograph was probably taken around 1910, and she lived on Mount Pleasant Street behind, where's Chapel Street today. We don't know exactly which was her address, so we think it's either this terrace or that terrace. She had 13 children. In that house. Of course, maybe not all at the same time, because the youngest was born, the oldest was 13, but still 13 children.
And this is the map of the area where she
And that's the map of the area, because we didn't find a plan. So we don't know the layout from the inside. So this photograph also, it's a studio photograph, but it was donated by her granddaughter to us. So most of the photographs, or half of the photographs, are donated by the members of public, never seen before. And the other half, especially the 2 oldest ones, are from Digital Salford.
I'm really pleased to see these photographs because it's got a personal resonance with me. I was born in Hankey Park in a terraced house, not similar to this. 2 up, 2 down with an outside toilet, all demolished in the early mid-60s. And it brings back so many memories. And that photograph there, is that Shirley Baker from?
No, they're all these ones are from Digital Salford. So they're not Shirley Baker photographs. We don't know. Well, we don't know. We don't know who the owner or the photographer was. They were just uploaded to Digital Salford. It's a whole group. There's about 6 or 7 of them documenting the traveller community in Pendlebury.
Coal mining.
Well, we don't know anything about them. There might have been miners, we don't know exactly, but they lived in these caravans. They called them Vado wagons. There was probably something. And what really resonated with me, or I mean to be frank, what shocked me really, was this photo of this toddler, I don't know, 3-4 years old perhaps, in the 1930s. Playing in filth and playing in these conditions, and having also very dirty clothes and very dirty face. And that is not the 1930s. This person might be still alive today, I mean, it's living memory. And it's also telling us stories, or reminding of us stories of people that are easily forgotten, because they don't often make their way into the history books. So that's, and the juxtaposition, I think, is more, it's a stronger message, that you see not just the portrait of the person, but you also see where they are living at that same time.
Do you have a favourite photograph?
Oh, that's difficult. Well, I can tell you which photograph gave me the inspiration for suggesting this to Belinda in the Working Class Movement Library, and that's Mrs. Ridgway there at the very beginning. So this photo here is the first one. I happened across it just looking through photos online, and it it really arrested my attention because the lady looks really, really old, but because it was, I think, around 1890s that the photo was taken, she probably was only in her 60s.
Exactly.
But she's lost all her teeth, so she has this sunken mouth. And what really haunts me are her hands, because they seem to be so large and so working class hands of a lady of that time. And she lived, there's a map, we think she lived in that ginnel here off Billy Lane in Clifton, because we have with the photograph a letter that somebody in the 60s sent explaining her name, so that's why we know, and explaining she lived in Clifton off Billy Lane.
It's interesting that she was a cellar dweller as well, isn't it?
Yeah. We have, Laura has made a section of a house. We don't know whether it looked like this because there's nothing left of these streets today. But just to give you an idea of the conditions that this lady and her family lived in. So it was down a stair into the basement, and then she lived in probably a one-room apartment with a window out to the stair. So there was not much daylight, if any. And there was also, as you can see, not a lot of damp proofing.
Not so long ago, 10 years at least, we filmed the cellar dweller houses where they built the Vimto Gardens now.
Really?
And there was people were telling me that these cellar dwellers, they actually worked in the cellars, didn't they?
Oh, that's like a,
They could do some homework from home.
it's like a cottage industry, yeah.
Cottage industry,
Yeah.
without ever leaving the home.
Well, yeah, I also wonder how you end up in that condition, because I don't think that was, if they had a choice, they probably would have moved somewhere a little bit lighter and warmer. So but we don't know anything. So one hope I have is that somebody comes and might say, oh, Mrs. Ridgway in Clifton, that was somebody my grandfather knew. You know, any other information would be really amazing to have.
Did you get a good response from your appeal for photographs?
Oh my God, yes, we did. I'm so happy. So we have this website, The Modern Backdrop, right? So, and it's about a year ago now that we made an appeal to the public saying, if you have photographs that you don't mind to share, please send them to us. And we got so many amazing photographs that we thought, well, there are so many that we don't really can show them all in our last exhibition in the Salford Museum. So that's really sparked the idea for this, to give some exposure to some of the people who donated their family photos.
I think it's fabulous. When does it run till?
So it starts today on the 5th of January, and it runs for 3 months. So the last day is the 25th of April.
I would urge you to please come and see the exhibition, but also come and visit the Working Class Movement Library. They've got an extensive collection of books, literature, everything related to the working class. And if you can, please fund it. Make a small donation. Any donation will be grateful, because it's such an important part of our heritage in Salford. So please come to the exhibition and say, if you can, help the Working Class Movement Library. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.